In a quiet Kansas valley, one man's peaceful farm became the center of an HOA turf war he never asked for. When a veteran's irrigation pipe was sabotaged by a power-hungry neighbor, nature fought back in the most unexpected way. This isn't just a story about flooding a lawn, it's about boundaries, dignity, and what happens when silence is mistaken for surrender. Grab a seat. This war was won without a single raised voice. Just water. It started on a pale spring morning in Hawthorne Valley, Kansas. The sun had barely crested the horizon when Samuel Sam Grady stood at the edge of his farm, boots in dew-heavy grass, coffee in hand. His irrigation pipe, a thick, black line that ran the length of his fence, now lay sliced and leaking like a wounded vein. Sam didn't need a confession. The glitter of garden shears tossed onto the HOA flower bed across the property line, and the smug posture of Patricia Ellison, sipping from a mug on her porch in a robe that could blind God, told him everything he needed to know. She had done it. She had touched the pipe. Sam had warned her once, firmly but politely, leave the pipe alone. She claimed it was an eyesore. He explained it was his lifeline. But to Patricia, aesthetics were law, and as vice president of the newly expanded HOA, she believed her opinions overruled boundaries. What she didn't understand was that Sam didn't operate on outrage. He was a man built from discipline, shaped in the jungles of Vietnam, tempered through decades of loss and rebuilding. He didn't yell. He adjusted. That evening, he quietly recalibrated the pressure settings in his irrigation system. The damaged valve had previously regulated overflow. Without it, water would follow the slope of the land. And that slope, carved by time and terrain, led directly to Patricia's immaculate backyard. That night, the system cycled. At 2:13 a.m., water began its silent march. By sunrise, Patricia's gnomes were floating, her solar lights dislodged, and her prized patio cushions soaked in silt. She stormed across the lawn in soggy slippers and accused Sam of sabotage. He answered only, "Gravity doesn't file complaints." But Patricia wasn't one to retreat. She escalated. Within days, Sam received 3 HOA citations, odor violations from compost, noise complaints about livestock, and claims of unauthorized structures. Then came a contractor crew, digging a community runoff trench that conveniently clipped one of Sam's irrigation lines. The crew apologized. Patricia did not. Sam responded with legal clarity. He filed formal complaints with the county, installed motion-triggered cameras, and began dye testing the runoff. Each violation was logged, every incident archived. He didn't retaliate. He prepared. Then came the land survey. It was supposed to be routine. What it revealed was anything but. Patricia's shed, garden path, and a quarter of her patio sat 2 feet onto Sam's property. Sam issued a 30-day notice for removal. She exploded. The blue dye incident came next. Entirely harmless, used to trace water flow. But the morning after its use, Patricia's yard looked like a blue-themed disaster zone. Grass-stained, stepping stones outlined, patio cushions blotched. She slipped during a live Facebook rant and sprained her ankle. The video went viral. Patricia retaliated with threats, then attempted sabotage. Caught on camera late at night, she tried turning Sam's valve. The pressure blew back, soaking her in a muddy geyser. She scrambled home, humiliated, unaware that the footage would later circulate among the HOA board. At the next meeting, Carla Rivera, a quiet board member with a penchant for justice, dropped the hammer. With Sam's permission, she presented the evidence: surveillance footage, property maps, violation stacking, and traces of financial misuse in the HOA budget. The vote to remove Patricia was nearly unanimous. Her final words were drowned out by a neighbor's laughter. 2 weeks later, her house was listed for sale. A black SUV arrived. Real estate agents, not lawyers. Sam didn't celebrate. He simply painted a small wooden sign and placed it near the fence. Irrigation Flow Management by Grady Farms, for educational use only. His neighbors chuckled. Some brought pies. The couple who bought Patricia's home were young, hopeful, and garden-loving. When their daughter asked to pet Sam's hens, he replied, "They like polite visitors." There was no dramatic victory, no grand speech, just peace. Because Sam had learned long ago that you don't need to yell to win. You need truth, and patience, and sometimes a little water pressure. In the end, nature wrote the final chapter, and the HOA learned what Sam already knew: water always finds a way.